Yes, we can hear.
Okay, good. Thank you again for the great welcoming, and I'm very honored to be with you. Today, I'm honored to be with the AMIC, event because Mr. Rahman is Professor Rahman is one of my best friends for several years, and I'm honored to be with you always in different events, and starting from UNESCO and going through the AMIC events. And welcome to everyone. Today, I'm trying to shed the light on the malicious use of AI and how AI will develop in the future and maybe in the coming years, and what we are facing today using the advancement in technology and also the AI specifically. So my presentation is about how the AI can be used maliciously, even if can I will share my presentation. Let me know if you see the slides.
You can now share the screen.
Yes, I'm trying. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So as you can see, we are talking about the malicious use of AI or artificial intelligence from the legal and the ethical implications, and what we will see in the future, and also how can we deal with all these things related to AI. But before we are going to understand how the legal and ethical implication will evolve in the coming years, we need to understand what the meaning of AI at the beginning. I understand that most of our friends and colleagues who are joining us today have read something about the foundation of AI and what the meaning of AI at the beginning. So I think most of us understand that the first one who came up with the idea of intelligent machine and thinking machines is Alan Turing. And in the past century, when we talked about the computing machinery and intelligence, and wrote his paper about can machines think. He was thinking about the thinking machines. And also Alan Turing is one of the creative minds who shared his knowledge and mathematical expertise in decrypting the Enigma machine for the Nazi in the World War II, and that was the beginning of the general purpose computing, and it was also his machine called the bomb machine. So it was also the basic foundation for the computer we are dealing with today. So Alan Turing is one of the experts and intelligence minds, from my opinion, who shed the light on the idea of thinking machines. The problem with the thinking machines is not only the thinking, but the idea of intelligence. Can machine be intelligent? Can machine behave like our brain is thinking and deciding, and also trying to take decisions on its own without intervention from external sources, and also trying to say what's right and what's wrong. This is very debatable question, by the way, and also it's the answer to the question is a more philosophical answer, because no one can say that yes, machine can think, and other people can say no, machines cannot think. The machine can be programmed, can be pre-programmed, can be given some ideas and some data to give you the results and all those things that we understand about the processing of AI. But the issue is the AI is now evolving for things that we didn't imagine in the past. So that's because of different things and that we will discuss today. But let's remember the movie that was talking about the Alan Turing and his idea to decrypt the Enigma machine. The game, the imitation game. I don't know if you have watched this movie or not, but we'll show you this clip from the movie when the inspector was talking to Alan Turing about his research about can machines think, and Alan Turing said to the question that he was asked by the inspector that you are asking a stupid question because because machines can think differently, because it doesn't mean that it doesn't think, but it thinks in different way. So it thinks, but it thinks in different way. Anyway, I invite you to re-watch the clip from the movie The Imitation Game and see how the philosophical debate emerged between the inspector and Alan Turing during this clip, because it's very philosophical and very debatable, really, when you ask someone, can machines think or not? So what's artificial intelligence anyway? So there is a lot of definitions to artificial intelligence. It's not one definition, and you will not be able to find a unified definition for artificial intelligence in different literatures. But many scholars agreed on that there is some kind of maybe characteristics that we can say that this is maybe an artificial intelligence. So, experts say that to say that this system is part of artificial intelligence system, or is it an artificial intelligence system, it should have, both autonomous and adaptive characteristics. So from autonomous, when we're talking about autonomy, it's related to the ability to perform tasks in complex environment without constant guidance by the users. And this is what we are trying to say, is not that artificial intelligence maybe does not need any guidance from the, from other things to guide it to take the decision. And this is what's called the autonomy. And also we are talking about the adaptability or adaptivity, the ability to improve performance by learning from experience. And this is what now evolved at some advancement in machine learning and things that we will understand later in the slides. But this is the most curious things about how AI will evolve in the future when it will be able to adapt with the environment. So as I mentioned, we are going to what's called the machine learning. Machine learning is, as it always defined in many literatures, the science of getting computers to learn without being explicitly programmed. As I mentioned, when we are talking about software or talking about software developments, talking about computer software, even the old computers, when it was programmed to do something, and even the computers we are dealing with today, it has some programmable ability in order to do something specific. But when we are talking about artificial intelligence mainly, and if we are talking about the science of getting the machine to learn without being explicitly programmed, is another thing. When we are talking about machine that can adapt, machine that can change its behavior and activity and actions with the environment. And this is what we are trying to tell people, that this is the thing that will advance the artificial intelligence in the upcoming years ahead. So computer science is the main field that people are studying nowadays when we are talking about computing and all those things that we are living with in the digital world. So we have the sub field of the AI, or the general artificial intelligence domain. And then we have the machine learning and also the deep learning, which is another thing related to how machine can learn from the environment without explicitly programmed. It's based on mimicking the neural networks in the brain. That's why we call it the deep learning. So let's see how machine learning works. So machine learning specifically is a science of getting computers to learn, as we mentioned, without being explicitly programmed. So we have different types of machine learning. We start with what's called supervised learning, and also we have the unsupervised learning, and the third thing is reinforcement learning. This is something that we will see in different applications when we are dealing with systems in the cloud, dealing with systems in our phones, dealing with systems that are being used by governments, by different entities, even by private sectors. So we have different applications of these types of machine learnings when we are talking about using of machine learning in our environment today. Let's say some examples. So when we are talking about the supervised learning is very easy, and we can see that this is something that's widely spread around us in our applications with the technology, like the text recognition and the spam detections in emails, something like object detection and all those things based on supervised learning. Why supervised learning? Why it's called supervised learning? Because we are using some defined set and labeled data sets to feed the machine, and the machine can easily detect the similarity in the objects using the algorithm that learn the data sets and the labels data sets. So we used here data sets labeled and assigned to train the algorithm to classify some kind of data and to predict the outcome. When the algorithm sees something like an apple, for example, he can predict that this is maybe an apple, maybe, for example, something else, but can say specifically it's an apple because we train the machine that apple maybe has some characteristic like for green apple and red apple, and also some kind of characteristics can be feeding to the algorithm, so the algorithm can predict with some accuracy that this is an apple. And this is, as we mentioned, can be seen in the text recognition, for example, and OCR applications, spam detections in emails, and all those things. So unsupervised learning is different thing. When we are talking about unsupervised learning, we are talking about machines that can learn from a lot of data, and this data is not labeled, is not defined, is not explicitly put in instructions and orders. So unsupervised learning is a type of machine learning which algorithms are provided with data that does not contain any labels or explicit instructions. So how can the algorithm learn? The algorithm can learn from analyzing the data, trying to find the anomaly in data, trying to find the relations between data sets. So the algorithm will do most of the learning process using the data. So for example, we can see this in data analytics algorithm, for example. When you see something like dashboards and all those things that predict what will be going in the stock market, for example, this is unsupervised learning. When we are talking about anomaly detection in some kind of analytics like crime prediction, for example, this is also unsupervised learning. So we have a lot of examples that we can put in under the unsupervised learning. So the third one is, which is I found most interesting because it's related to how human is learned. So when we are talking about reinforcement learning, this is something related to how our brain is programmed and work in the real environment, because you learn from the mistakes and you learn from rewards. When you are deciding something right, you get a reward and you learn that this is right. Okay, when you do something wrong, you may be punished. So now you understand that this is wrong. So maybe you will do it again, and maybe you will not do it again. And this is the learning process that we call the reinforcement learning. So we feed the algorithm with some reward, and this reward decide that this action is right and this action is wrong, or this action may be accurately with some percentage right and some percentage wrong. And this can be obviously seen in the recommender system. For example, when you are watching something on YouTube, and at the end of the video, the system just bring you a new video to watch. You may be interested in this video to watch. It's based on analyzing your behavior and your actions with the videos, with video types you are watching on YouTube. And when you are clicking on the next to see the next video, then the algorithm are fed with reward. So because he decided that you need to watch this video and you watched this video, that is the right decision for the algorithm. That's why they give the algorithm the reward, and this is the right decision. So this is a continuous learning process. When you have this recommender system, for example, working for many years and many months, he will be able to understand a lot of behavioral works on online. For example, when we are talking about Netflix, for example, yes, they have the same idea of reinforcement learning algorithm, and it's used in their own system to recommend some kind of movies and some kind of series to be watched based on analyzing your behavior during the period you are using your own account. Because when you are using Netflix, for example, you can use different account, and each account has its own behavior and characteristics and learning behavior for the algorithm. And this is one of the most obvious example for the reinforcement learning. So as we can see, this is all based on the data that we are seeing today, because we are living now in the big data era, and the algorithms are using the data to learn. That's why they are saying that data is the new oil. Data is fueling the digital economy we are living in. It's also fueling the advancement of technology, especially the AI. So all these data can be used to train the algorithm. And that's one of the things that, enhances the algorithms of AI, the accuracy of algorithms of AI. And these data can be used against us and also can be used in the benefit of our society. As I mentioned, algorithm can, predict the behavior of people on when using system or when interacting with the system. And also algorithms can easily know your personality these days, especially when you are dealing with platforms like social media and all those things. It's all based on AI algorithms. So machine learning can be found in different applications, as I can, categorize it very, very fast, like colorizing black and white images, for example, automatically using AI. This is based on machine learning. So algorithms will learn that, some kind of cars in different ages can be colored in a different color, the shades and lights, and also the people clothes, all those things can be defined using machine learning, and also can be used to do some kind of very attractive things like colorizing black and white images or videos that we are seeing nowadays. So you can see this link, tinyclouds.org/colorize. You can see for yourself how you can upload an black and white image, and you can get the AI colorize it for you. So that's how the machine learning can be used in a very simple application like colorizing black and white images. So we have also these things that I mentioned before, is the object detection and object recognition, like the OCR, and also detecting special objects in video or images. This is also example for the machine learning. But this is, as I mentioned, is a kind of supervised learning, because machines or algorithms need to understand how these things looks like in order to detect these things in the movies or the pictures. So as you can see, the algorithm can detect different objects in the video, and I think you can you can imagine that these things are becoming normal right now when you are using, for example, even Microsoft Word, and you are trying to insert a photo, for example, in your document, and the software can detect easily the objects in the image you are inserting in the document, and it gives you a description even for the photo. It says that this photo contains, for example, people who are playing football. So the algorithm decided that the objects in the picture are people who are playing football and so on. So not only this, but AI can create things that does not exist. And this is the most, astonishing thing when we are talking about what AI can do in the future is, inventing things, creating things that does not exist and in the real life. And this is very promising and also very scary when you are talking about things that can not be exist in our real life, and the AI can do it in even in real life or even in a digital life or in the virtual life, like the things we are talking about today, metaverse and all those virtual worlds that people will live on in the future. And this is a different story, by the way, and a very big topic about the parallel worlds, the virtual worlds that people will be living in the future. And also it has a lot of implications when it comes to legal and ethical. And also AI is one of the technologies that will empower the metaverse in the future. So when you are you can click on this link, this X does not exist.com. You can create a lot of things that does not exist, even people. You can create images for people who does not exist in the real life. So that can be used in different things, starting from fake identities, can be used in different things to, do a lot of things like creating fake profiles and all those things, or also trying to trick people using all those photos, and can be used also in different things in media, and also video effects when you are creating characters that does not exist in movies and things like this. People now are talking about creating digital copy from people who are dead right now. So you are talking about people who are, for example, actors who are dead that can, we can use AI or algorithm to create a digital copy from this actor who already did right now, and we can use this digital copy in a movie, for example, and can behave the same behavior and also the same characteristics of the dead actor. So what's the ethical implication in this way, and also what's the legal implication, because we are using a digital copy from someone who is now dead. So how can we deal with something like this from legal and ethical perspective? So all those things remind us with the science fiction movies we are watching every day. One of the movies I think you can remember is the Minority Report movie. I don't know if you remember this movie. It's an old one, but this movie, included a lot of technologies that we are looking forward to see it in the future. Right now, we can see a lot of things based on AI. We can see crime predictions. We can see augmented reality. We can see virtual reality. We can see AIs that predict the crime, AIs that analyze the behavior of people. All those things are, depicted in this science fiction movie. So we are heading, fast to the what's have mentioned in the science fiction movies. So not all AI is bad, for sure. We have a lot of things that can be used on perspective of the national security, for example, like criminal investigations. We are using AI in criminal investigations. From my own experience working with governments and also working with law enforcement in different countries, I see that governments now are using AI heavily in crime fighting and the crime prediction and the crime investigations, also in counterterrorism, and also using autonomous system to fight crimes and criminals, and also in cybersecurity that we are dealing today with the new threats that are evolving today on cyberspace. AI now can detect threats that traditional system cannot detect. So AI is not always bad, but it's double-sided. It's a tool at the end. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad. So as I mentioned, we have used AI to identify suspects and the criminal using predictive analytics tools, for example, in money laundering, for example. So we can use it also in counterterrorism to detect the behavior of people who are using social media, for example, people who are using some kind of platforms, analyzing the behavior of typing, for example, on different platforms, and we can detect that this guy is, for example, maybe a project for radicalists, for example. So these things can be analyzed using AI. But as I mentioned, AI is double-edged. So we will see now later in the later slides that it's not always as you see. Yes, we can use AI in identifying suspects, for example, but how can we be sure of that this AI decision is 100% right? We need to be sure, and this is not easy because there is a lot of challenges that we will discuss later. I refer to this important book written by Pedro Domingos. He talks about the master algorithm, and this is a very important book because the writer talk about the super everything. We are talking about super manager, for example, who is using AI algorithm to manage, and also we are talking about super scientists who are using AI for a scientific research or something like this. We are talking also about super engineers. We are talking about super everything, everyone that can use the algorithm and work with the AI. He can be very super in comparative to his peers. We are talking also about super criminals because criminals will use the algorithm, and also because these technologies are now open source. Most of the algorithms are now available online. Many developers are using ready-made codes that are available on platforms like GitHub and all those things, so people can use the ready-made codes to create some kind of AI algorithms without writing all these lines of codes from scratch. So we can witness super criminals in near futures who are using the algorithm. So this is something that many philosophers talk about in the past, by the way. One of the ideas, I don't remember the writer, but one of the philosophers said that we are heading, using the technology, we are heading forward to what we are calling power to people. We are giving lethal empowerment technology to people. Yes, we are trying to empower people with technology, but we should be careful because technology is double-edged. So when you are giving people lethal technology, you are trying to disrupt the normal society and community you are living in. So this is very dangerous, and we have to think twice before doing something like this or opening all things as open source and available for everyone to use. So this is not easy decision. So AI can be used maliciously in different ways. We can use AI maliciously in cybersecurity, for example. We can create smart virus, for example, smart malware, for example, that can do some kind of things based on the machine learning and algorithms, as that we will see right now. Also, we have the physical security issues. We can use also AI maliciously to breach physical security. Also, political security can be targeted using AI maliciously. For example, we can see AI-powered cyber attacks. For when we are talking about malware, for example, we can use AI algorithm to program a smart malware that can, do some kind of things based on very intelligent situations. So we have also platforms to automate what's called social engineering in cybersecurity, to trick people to do something, and also to get sensitive data from people based on certain conditions. And the AI can trick people easily using these social engineering techniques. Also, we have some kind of vulnerability discovery in very complex systems that can be easily discovered using AI. Nowadays, people are using tools, are using some kind of bug hunting techniques in cybersecurity in different systems. But in the near future, people will use algorithms to find these kind of vulnerabilities, and it will be faster than the traditional way of finding bugs and finding vulnerabilities in the systems. So it's not easy to predict what will come in the future when we are talking about using AI maliciously in cybersecurity. One of the examples that was designed to give an example of how AI can be used maliciously in cybersecurity is the experiment done by IBM on a very smart malware called Deep Locker. Deep Locker is based on machine learning, and it's a ransomware malware. This ransomware is based on deep learning algorithm. It is find a specific vulnerability based on specific characteristics and infect the target based on these things that machine can analyze and decide that this is a potential target. So this is based on machine learning, and it's a real experiment. And we can see that in traditional way of targeting system using ransomware, for example, ransomware is available in the wild. So we have machines with targeted bugs and machines without targeted bugs. Machine with targeted bugs, when the ransomware finds the bug, it infect the machine and also run the exploit, and it will encrypt all your files and will ask you for a ransom. If you pay the ransom, you can decrypt your files. Even if you pay, there is no guarantee that they will give you the key anyway. But in the AI system, it's different. For example, people can download a lot of applications from different platforms, and those applications can do things in behind the scenes. For example, video conference app can be distributed and downloaded by millions of people. So people can use these apps to do something like we are doing now, is video conference, for example. And these applications can capture the faces, doing some kind of analysis, detecting the faces of the people. So if the smart malware and the smart malicious code that can be detected someone who is designed to be infected, for example, people who are using a specific type of machines, people who are wearing a specific brand of clothes, for example, those can be infected because those people who are maybe wearing a very expensive brands and all those things. So those people have money. So if you infect those people, there is a big chance that you can get some money from those people. So it's based on intelligence system to detect who are the people we can infect using these smart code. So away from smart code, military are now trying to design smart robots that can target people based on specific features. And this is also something depicted in the science fiction movies. I don't know if you have watched this movie. This movie also was talking about lethal autonomous weapons. This movie is called Drones. It was talking about the technology of drones and how these drones can be very intelligent when it's based on artificial intelligence and different applications that we have discussed. And I think this is now not a science fiction. When we are talking about drones and AI, we will remember the video created to spread the awareness about lethal autonomous weapons. Those was a fictional scenario in 2017. As you can see, this is a very small drone. It has applications, cameras, sensors, explosives, AI algorithms. As you can see, this is a science fiction clip to raise the awareness for people to understand that we are going forward to the lethal autonomous weapons. And now this is not a science fiction anymore because it's already designed, it's already here. You can find this is a real example of what's called lethal autonomous drone, that it does not need any GPS, for example, does not need motion capture, does not need predefined object, for example, just give it the task and throw it away in the woods. As you can see, it can move without even any guidance from human being. So it's not science fiction anymore. So we are heading fast to the very dangerous lethal autonomous weapons. So we can see a lot of applications that can be used against us in using AI, something like impersonating trusted target, for example. People can use AI system to impersonate voice of the people, for example, to impersonate the characteristics of someone that people trust, and something like this. And this is not the science fiction also, because there is a lot of systems available right now online that can impersonate voice of anyone. So when you are seeing this website, it's very well known for people who are working in the media and people who are working in special effects. So it's called Altered. This website can be used to create voice from different people who are giving away their voices as a fingerprint for the system to create a special voice that you can use in your movies, in your even courses, on anything. And even what will happen if you can use these algorithms to create fake voice for anyone you know. So you can get this code, the fingerprint of the voice, and it will create you any voice that you need. So, and the criminals, succeeded in using these techniques and this algorithm to mimic the voice of one of the directors of a companies in United Arab Emirates, and they succeeded in stealing $35 million from the company by phone call. Just they called the director with the voice print of the sales manager that we need to transfer some amount of money to another company we are dealing with, because we have a deal with them and this is the deadline and we need to transfer the money. They got the permission and also they got the money. So this is how criminals can use these kind of algorithms. So the problem is we are heading to what's called the synthetic reality. As I mentioned, AI can create things that does not exist. So that's the most dangerous things. So we are living in an era when we can see digital versus real. And this is the problem of the dilemma of what we are living in a very problematic area, when this conversion with augmented reality and virtual reality, and also the creation of digital identities that will create what we call a synthetic reality. And this is quoted, by the way, from Abraham Maslow, when he said that a person's ultimate goal is to become everything that one is capable of becoming. And we can do this right now using AI algorithms and also all those technologies that we talked about to create a synthetic reality. We can be what we need to be. So this is very, very dangerous as empowering people, as I am saying in the lethal empowerment theory. So what if social bot, for example, has the ability to use the machine learning to know everything about you, especially your emotion, and it can interact with voice, text, and even video in a different language. This can be done easily. So what if social bot is able to accurately modify a video and audio of political leader or public figure to make them say and do things that supports its narrative? This can be done right now. We can see the applications of deep fakes. I think all of you have watched something related to deep fake, using machine learning and deep learning and AI algorithm to fake videos and photos for public figures and also political leaders. One of the famous videos I think you have watched it many times is the video of Obama. And this is fake video. All the videos that you are seeing now is faked using AI. Anyway, I will show you something that's completely created with AI. So Obama is not completely created with AI. They used some footage for real photos, real videos for Obama. Hours of videos for Obama, and they used some kind of the mimicking to the lip sync, and they created these videos that you are seeing right now. But you will see something very different. This one is completely created with AI for Morgan Freeman. This is, by the way, a synthetic character. This is not a real Morgan Freeman video. By the way, this is his voice. He is saying that I'm not even a human being. I don't know if you hear the voice, but he's talking about, yeah, you don't hear it. He's talking about what's your perception of reality, because you are seeing me saying something or doing something, does it make it real? So the era of synthetic reality, it's created using this guy, use an AI algorithm, and using some kind of generated graphics for Morgan Freeman, and also the voice fingerprint of Morgan Freeman. So it's very complicated. And also we have the dilemma of ethics and law when we are talking about the algorithms bias, for example. So algorithm is not, as you can see it, because algorithm has bias. The bias can be based on the program itself. Algorithm can be biased in the way it's written and the problem it's trying to solve. Maybe the problem is also biased. So we have also the data sets that's used to train the algorithm can also be biased. Also, we have the people who program the algorithm also can be biased. They are also, creating echo chambers, for example, if they are like-minded, so they can create the same, environment for the algorithm, and they will do the same idea for the people who are like-minded and also from the same background and culture. So you will see an echo chamber in the algorithm. So there is some recommendations to avoid the algorithmic bias. And one of the things is a diversity of the team, avoid group thinking, people who are thinking in the same way, diversity of mindset, personality testing for people who are developing the algorithm, also diversity of data, using different data to train the algorithm, and also diversity of algorithmic models. I see these things, yes, it's fine to say something like this and also to recommend something like this. But in the real life, it's not easy to do all those things, because most of the designed algorithms are designed by private sectors and private companies. So you cannot enforce all those things easily on these companies. Also, we have the issue of moral machine. For example, MIT tried to create an experiment for people to decide what will be right and what will be wrong, and try to train the algorithm to decide what's right and what's wrong based on people contribution. So you can try this experiment on this link, the moralmachine.net, created by MIT. They are trying to tell people that AI can be biased even based on your contribution as a human. So it's not easy to design an algorithm that's not biased, because people who are creating these algorithms and also who are creating the behavioral decisions of all those machines can be biased. So it's not easy to decide if the algorithm is biased or not. So you can try it for yourself. They are trying to create a moral machine using people contribution. So it's based also on people behavior. So there is no guarantee that it will not be biased. So it's a very big dilemma, by the way. So when approaching to the ethical AI, there is some kind of trials to put some frameworks for the ethical design of AI, which is not easy to be implemented by the way, because I have said that people who are working on these algorithms are not easy to be aligned to use all those things related to the ethical design of AI systems. One of the most important frameworks that designed for ethical AI systems is the IEEE ethically aligned design. Also, we have the UNESCO AI initiatives, which also tries to give some recommendations, some analysis based on the ethical approaches to designing AI, which I can see it's not enough to put some kind of frameworks to the ethical design of AI. Also, we have the other frameworks that they are talking about creating some kind of legal infrastructure to regulate how AI is designed, how AI is used in the society. For example, we have the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. We have also the OECD framework. We have also the UNICRI, United Nations Interrogation Crime and Justice Research Institute framework. They are also trying to put some kind of framework for the ethical design and use of AI. When it comes to law, it's not easy to find unified or internationally or universally agreed definitions for the AI acts that can be regulated. One of the most important frameworks is the European Union AI Act. It's very important. You can review how European Union is trying to regulate AI design, regulate AI usage, regulate AI harms and acts, created using AI algorithm. However, it's not enough, as I mentioned, and we have also the contribution of the UK, because UK, as you know, is now out of European Union, so they have their own contribution in regulating AI. The Chartered Institute for IT, for example, has a very important briefing on their governmental proposal, the UK proposal to regulate AI. They are criticizing the European Union way of thinking to regulate AI. For example, the UK government, said that the European Union approach, it's not taking less centralized approach, for example. So there is some kind of, critics when you are dealing with regulating AI, because some regions may see that regulating AI will suppress the innovation, will prevent innovative systems, will do a lot of harm to advancement of technology and science in general. Other countries or regions can see that, no, we have to regulate what's wrong, what's right in using AI. So it's a very big debate when it comes to regulating AI. But in my conclusion, and according to the European Commission, AI system should encompass 7 principles through the life cycle. These are the 7 principles when it comes to dealing with an ethical AI, for example. So they are recommending human agency and oversight over the AI development, also the technical robustness and safety of the AI that's used and created using the algorithms. Also, the privacy and data governance issues arising from using the algorithms. We have also the issue of transparency, diversity, non-discrimination, and fairness. And also, this is very important thing when it comes to AI algorithm. Societal and environmental well-being, accountability, who will be held accountable for the algorithm and what the algorithm is creating is very big debate also. So I see that this is a very important trial to put a framework for AI ethical and legal dimensions. But I see it's not complete, it's not enough. It needs a lot of discussion in different perspectives, because also cultures are different from country to country, from regions to region. What you can see it, ethical in your region, maybe it's not ethical in another region. So it's not easy to decide that this is complete or not. I will close with this quote from Neil Postman. Neil Postman is a well-known educator and a professor. I really admire this person, and we really forgive him, and also I'm sorry, we really miss him in this era. We really miss this guy in the era of AI and technology. So Neil Postman wrote a book called Amusing Ourselves to Death. So he gave a speech to the German Informatics Society in 1990, titled Informing Ourselves to Death. So he said in the speech, they will give us artificial intelligence and they tell us that this is the way to self-knowledge. They will give us entertain us global communications and they tell us this is the way to mutual understanding. They will give us virtual reality and they tell us this is the answer to spiritual poverty. But this is the only way of the technicians, the fact monger, the information junkie, and the technological idiot. So this is Neil Postman from 1990, and we are now witnessing a lot of these things in the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed Burgundi. Thank you. This is very insightful, at the same time, very scary. So it's time for open forum, my dear colleagues. Dr. Mohammed, we have collected some questions and we've sent them to your chat box.
Yeah.
Select the questions you would like to respond to.
Yeah, I see one of the questions from our colleague Olivia. She said, so how can we stop these AI threats in our society and spread the technology of goodness instead? Yes, this is a general question. And the general answer will be people need to be trained on the ethical use of technology on large, because people who are now studying information technology, for example, computer science, for example, colleges and universities are not, well. They don't have well-designed curriculum for ethics and regulation of all those things. When I'm trying to teach legal and ethical issues in AI and computer science faculty, and I found that the university is not interested to add this type of curriculum for people, because this is not the core knowledge that people need to understand, and the programmers and developers does not need to understand what is the legal implications of what they are doing. And this is very, very, very wrong direction from what I can see. No, it's very important when we are looking to the international community. For example, I'm talking about the Egyptian example, but when you are talking about international community in the UK, for example, which I'm working at the Chartered Institute for IT, I see that there is a dedicated curriculum for ethics and regulation of technology. So programmers and developers need to understand the ethical and legal actions related to their tools and development of the systems they are creating. So this is very important. We need to educate people on these things. By the way, I will add something here very important. I finished with Neil Postman, and I invite all of you to revisit his books, because this educator and the philosopher wrote many important things about how to educate people on the ethical use and the legal implications of technology in the future. And people really need to read his insights. Thank you very much. I'm trying to find another question. There is a question here with obvious high impact of AI. When will and when would the countries agree, given the present depths of high technology, on the ethical and legal parameters? So, okay, this is a very important question, by the way, from Cynthia, regarding the the agreement between countries. I think this is very difficult, because even on the most lethal things, countries are not on the same ground. When we are talking, for example, about terrorism, so this is something no one can say that terrorism is good, terrorism is bad. But even terrorism, when we are talking about countries that who agree that on the definition of terrorism, they are not on the same ground. So this is very important to understand that politics is playing very important role in this. Also, technology, from my perspective, is a tool, as I mentioned, and it's a double-edged, and it's a tool for one of the driving force of the globalization. So it's part of the globalization and post-globalization era. So it will be used in politics. So that's why countries will not be easily on the same ground on all those things related to technology. This is from my point of view. If you have something that you can say on this regard, I will appreciate for sure. Okay, there is a very important question about the media. What implications do you see of AI in media? How will it impact media? Okay, this is very important question regarding the media. Media is changing right now already, using technology in general, and AI will radically change technology media. You can see movies who can be that can be created from scratch using AI. So there is no need to actors, for example. We can see TV shows that can be presented using AI robots or AI chatbots when TV presenters are not present. So there is a lot of implications when it comes to the industry itself, the media industry, when we are talking about media industry. But there is another challenges when we are talking also about using AI maliciously in media, for example, spreading fake news, fake information. We need a lot of fact checking in this era, because of the AI can be used to fake information and fake data that can be fed into the TV shows and programs that we are watching now. From my perspective, also technology is changing the media industry, because most of the youth now are not watching the traditional outlets of media, such as TV, for example. People are now, especially young people, Generation Z, for example, are using social media heavily. They are dependent on social media for getting their own information, for own data that are based on consuming more of social media platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all those things. So all those things based on AI, for example. So that's how AI can affect the perception of young generations who are using media platform. And if we are talking about the change or that technology is created to media, is even the theory of media is changed, because now the traditional theories like one to many and many to many and all those things, we are seeing now technology is changing all those theories, because we have now machines that can send you something that does not exist. For example, this is something new in the era of the media industry. So I think we need to be prepared for the change, and also media scholars and media students need to analyze and study the effect of AI on the media industry in the future. Maria is
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed.
You are welcome. There is also, I think it's question or not, it's no longer safe to use apps that's useful social media or facial recognition technology if they can be accessed by anybody, like apps that turns your face into a cartoon. Yeah, this is very important question. Yes, it's very dangerous, because let me explain something here. When you are downloading an app and put this app on your mobile phone and open your camera to take a photo and apply filters, there is a lot of things that happened here. First, you agree to download the app and it gives the permission to this app to do anything in your mobile phone. You don't know what they are doing. This is very dangerous. This is number one. Number two, you agreed. So they have the permission to take the photos, to update the photo, to take your face and put it on something else on different platform to train the AI, for example. These things can be used because you agreed on the first place to download the app and use it on your mobile phone. This is from AI perspective. When we are talking about security perspective, it's very dangerous, because these apps can be malicious, because these apps can steal your information, can be used in accessing sensitive data on your devices. Yes, it's not easy. So before you download any app to your mobile phone, even if it's from trusted source, you have to search for it, see how people are using it, understand what this app is doing to your phone. You need to research. So I think the problem right now is people need to do more research on everything they are trying to use in technology. When you are using an application or you are using an app, and this is very important and very dangerous on the same way, because our mind is not designed like this. It's not designed to consume all those information and to try to analyze it and understand what's dangerous and what's not, because we are dealing with our mind does not design for all those informations that we are dealing with in cyberspace, for example. So it's not easy to tell someone you have to research an app before install it on your phone. So people are not doing research even in the study. So you are telling them you need to research an app before install it on your phone. This is not easy. So that's why privacy is an issue now in the cyber world. That's why crimes are on the rise in the cyber world, because people are not aware and they are not ready to be aware, because it's not easy. This is another question from, thank you, Maria. You're welcome. Carlos, how do we balance crime prediction, pre-crime, with human rights, privacy, and false positive? Yeah. This is very, very important. Recently, there have been movements in the United States for tests of facial recognition, for example, due to the AI bias. Yes, this is very important, and that's what I said when we talked about the bias in the AI. We cannot guarantee that these algorithms are, giving us the right direction. We are not guarantee, that these algorithms will give us the right answer. And this is very important when we are dealing with human rights. We are dealing with privacy of people. We are dealing with the human dignity itself. Because the AI can say that for judge, for example, that this guy is guilty, and it's not. That's because the AI is biased. And this is real cases, by the way, in the United States. Black boxes used in courts to decide or to help the judge who is guilty and not. And they found that some AI algorithms gives very aggressive punishment for people for Black people, for example, against white people. And this is bias because the people who created the algorithm are white people, and the guy who is in the court is Black people. So this is very dangerous, and I see it's not easy. It's a formula of balance that we need to understand how we can implement it in the algorithm, how to train people who are designing the algorithm, how to oversee people who are designing the algorithm, and also audit on the algorithm design and the algorithm usage. It's not easy because most of those things are designed by private sectors, as I mentioned, and you don't have the governments does not have the power to interfere in these things, especially when we are talking about very complicated things like AI design and AI algorithm. Even governments are not, are not easy to involve in things in private sector that's understandable. So what about things that's not fully understandable to people who are working in government, for example, to understand how AI is working and how AI, is biased and all those things. So I think the big issue is to educate people on those things, to raise the awareness of these things. Policymakers need to understand these things. If they don't understand the problem, there will never be a solution to this problem because they don't understand it in the first place. Professor Ramon, I'm ready if you want to take the floor.
Yes, I was wondering, Dr. El Gundi, if we can have a photo after listening to your talk. I wonder if it's safe and the violation of privacy if ask everybody to open their video so we could have a photo session very briefly. Only those who are willing to have their photos.
Yeah, and you agree, by the way, when you open the camera, you agree to.
Yes, that's correct.
I really would like to thank all of your audience, and really I was very happy to receive all those questions, and really it's great to be always with you all.
Thank you very much. I'll give the closing. We promised to end by 6:30. It will not be 5-minute talk. First of all, Dr. Mohammed, we have 180 plus participants today.
Yeah, this is great.
Coming from 9 countries. Of course, we have Philippines, India, China, Myanmar, Cambodia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Bangladesh, and Bhutan. So thank you for coming. We're very happy that you've come. You've joined us today. AI and machine learning are technical issues which demand philosophical answers. Perhaps this highlights man's superiority over technology because we have our philosophical anchor. Understanding AI and ML also highlights the need for interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary studies. I think this was again emphasized by our speaker earlier. Computer engineering and robotics engineering, to have more meaning, need the perspective of other disciplines, including the social sciences, humanities, and very important, the arts. Today's session raised many issues which remained unanswered. Our resource person, Dr. Mohammed Rugundi himself, raised many of these issues. Our colleagues, our participants also mentioned some of these issues, raised questions. This only means that we need a follow-up forum to search for answers and, unfortunately, to also ask for more questions. Our next AI session is scheduled on November 24. Please reserve that day and the same time, November 24, on the theme which somehow was mentioned today, challenges of regulating AI and the UNESCO recommendations on the use of ethics of AI. I will be remiss if I didn't mention that late last year, UNESCO adopted the recommendations on the ethics of the use of AI. It can be downloaded, by the way. The confirmed speaker in this session is no less than the chairperson of the UNESCO Information for All program, Dorothy Gordon, and we will send the link very soon. If you confirm early, you will be able to have a front seat. A realization in today's forum is that AI, as Mohammed El-Gundi mentioned, is a double-edged sword. AI has positive uses, which leads to better quality of life for all. But AI also has many negative uses, or what the title of the forum refers to as, quote, malicious uses. The use of AI and machine learning has intrinsic, ethical, and legal dimensions. Only humans, like some of us, can address these dimensions because only humans can define or set ethical compass or standards. As we end today's session, one question is brought to light for each one of us to answer. The question is, how can I use AI to become a better human being? How can I use AI to become a better human being for others? I hope we can individually and collectively find the answer to these questions soon without the dictates of a machine. Good day to all of us, humans and robots. Maraming salamat po, and see you in our next AI session on November 24. Good
Thank
day.
you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed El-Gundi. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you very much from India.
Thank you.
Oh, mentioned, I missed one country in my enumerations. We have participants from Sri Lanka. My
Yeah.
apologies, my apologies. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for everyone. Thank you.
Also
Thank you.
joining
See-
from
see-
Belgium.
I think we have one from Africa, Kamgwe.
Oh,
I
wow.
thought you were
Oh,
Yes. And
it's an honor.
I'm also joining from Belgium.
oh, from Belgium.
Oh, this is great. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother Professor Ramon.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for everyone really joining us, and hope that we will be able to join another meeting with you.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank
Safe
you.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much po. Thank you po.